Hello and welcome. You're watching this very special interaction on the energy space, oil and gas, with someone who's an authority. International Energy Agency's Dr. Fatih Birol is in conversation with us. Dr. Birol, thank you so much for your time. Before I go into the energy space, I want to start by congratulating you on a wonderful report which you guys have released, India Energy Outlook 2021. Let's start with that, the gist of it, or the big prediction which you're making in the next decade or two. Where would India be in terms of energy consumption, the big demand trend, as we move towards the $5 trillion size of the economy or even higher? What are your readings?
We just published today our second India Energy Outlook and presented to the international media around the world. And 5 years ago, when we published the first India Energy Outlook, I was in Delhi at that time, I remember that I said, India will move to the center stage of global energy affairs. And today, India has arrived to the center stage of global energy affairs. And when we look at the next 20 years, next 2 decades, India has the highest share of global energy demand growth among all the countries around the world. Very strong energy demand growth driven by the urbanization, industrialization, and the increasing income levels of Indian citizens. So more energy is needed in India, and what kind of energy choices India will make will be not only important for the Indian citizens, but for the entire planet.
Right. Dr. Birol, India is also moving, in a very fast manner to increase the share of cleaner fuels in their overall energy basket. Natural gas, LNG, is an area of the government. They want to increase it to 15%. What are your thoughts at the rate of adoption of that fuel by industry? What your observations on supply trends here, infrastructure? Is it happening in the right direction?
India oil demand is mainly driven by the road transportation, especially by trucks. And this will make with the current policies, India's economy more reliant on oil imports. And this will create a definitely vulnerability, maybe as a result of the price spikes or geopolitical tensions here and there. But this is not set in stone. There are alternatives to that. For example, the big driver of the oil demand growth in India is the trucks, the freight around the country, moving goods around the country. India has a very good railway system, and I know that there is a strong effort to modernize this railway system. So therefore, moving the freight from the trucks to railways is one option. Another option is in my view, to electrifying the 2 3-wheelers, pushing electric cars, and India, in my view, when we look at the entire world, India is said to be a solar nation. And it is mainly because solar is very competitive when you compare the other options. And Prime Minister Modi gave very strong direction in terms of the renewables growth in India. Therefore, I expect solar energy will also see a strong increase, and our numbers show that within 10 years of time, if the right policies put in place, renewables, mainly solar, may take over coal as the number one source of electricity generation in India.
That's very optimistic of you, Dr. Birol. In fact, just yesterday, one of the very senior ministers in the government, Mr. Piyush Goyal, did say that they're aiming to electrify the railways and move away from diesel as a fuel for railways. So, as you were just saying, that it is all that's also happening. What about natural gas? How is natural gas becoming, increased part of the overall basket here in India, in your view?
Yes, in fact, I am optimistic about India's energy future. Not only that the Indian energy sector, Indian economy is in safe hands, and India is a very innovative country, but also there were some recent achievements providing electricity access to 900 million additional people. In terms of the Ujjwala program, bringing a lot of hundreds of thousands of people clean cooking services, LED lighting, many, many things. Now, natural gas. Today, the share of natural gas in Indian energy mix is about 6%, one of the lowest in the world. And I see a good opportunity to increase this natural gas, especially to replace coal in the heavy industries, and also for different source of end users. This would reduce the emissions. This would bring the air quality to better levels for the Indian citizens. And in my view, this will also help India's global contribution to global emissions much less than today. But of course, it is very important where India will get its natural gas from, the cost of it, and also I hope it will come from the gas exporters with rather less methane emissions, and this will be a good move for India, Indian economy, Indian energy system, and Indian emissions. And Minister Pradhan, I had several discussions with Minister Pradhan. He is a well-qualified minister, knows the entire energy world, and we are working very closely together to support Minister Pradhan for his vision to provide a sustainable energy future for Indian economy.
Dr. Birol, let's shift focus and talk about the more near-term trend, which is oil prices are back above the $60 mark. The Brent is back above $60. Do you see this as a correlation that global economy is rebounding and hence oil prices are rebounding, or do you see it going back to $75, $85 as well in the next 1 or 2 years? Is that possible?
So when we look at the oil markets, in the past, when we assessed where the prices go, we look at how is demand, what is supply, what the producing countries do, different things. But now, the most important determinant of the oil markets today is one question: vaccination. Whether or not we will see a successful, effective vaccination around the world, which in turn would give a boost to global economic rebound. The hopes that we recently have around the world, that the vaccination starting slowly but surely in many parts of the world, this will give us a more optimistic view of the global economic rebound, which in turn give a boost to oil prices, because the demand may rebound strongly. And if we see the vaccination efforts around the world are successful, we will see a stronger oil demand growth, and this would push the prices up. And here, of course, comes to the second important factor what will the OPEC countries, especially Saudi Arabia, will do if they are still on the, in the opinion of keeping the production cuts as they are. This may keep the prices higher than we have seen in the recent few months.
Dr. Birol, how much probability or chances would you assign that 12 to 24 months from here, given the situation and the factors which you just told us, that the prices could actually trend higher internationally?
To be honest with you, here you need to ask this question not to energy people, but the medical people. If the vaccination is successful, and which means that it covers big majority of the global population, and it proves to be effective in terms of the defeating the coronavirus, we may well see global economy to grow of 5-6%, a rebound, strong rebound. And here I expect from India maybe even a double-digit economic growth rebound, and big growth coming also from China and United States. And if the producers continue with their current cuts of production, we will see stocks will fall down, and this may give a further support to oil prices around the world, even maybe higher than what we are seeing today. There is a probability there, but the point of departure is the success and the effectiveness of the vaccinations program around the world.
Right. My last question, the cost of solar energy in India have really come down, and that has also increased the absorption by it, and projects are being taken much more widely. How do you see solar energy as part of the overall basket, say 5, 7, 10 years from here in India?
Now, India is maybe like some countries. India doesn't have huge oil resources. India perhaps doesn't have huge natural gas resources, but India has a tremendous solar potential. And in my view, India is said to be a solar nation because the cost of electricity generation from solar is very low. This is one good news. Second good news is that the Indian government is very keen to make the most out of this solar for electricity generation. And I expect that in addition to using solar for electricity generation in the big utilities, India will soon put panels on the rooftops of the buildings and also generate electricity from that, using for different parts. So today, the share of coal in the Indian electricity mix is about 7%. Share of solar is less than 5%. But I expect with the right policies, with the determination of the government, less than 10 years of time, renewables, mainly solar, may take over coal as the number one source of electricity generation in India, which is excellent news for India, for economic reasons, for air pollution, and also for security of energy, because solar, India doesn't need to import from somewhere else. It is a national treasury of Indian people.
Right. All right, Dr. Birol, we'll let you go on that one. Thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate you chatting with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day ahead.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.